With Female Deku was Drill Woman, we start off where Izumi is on the streets. No one wanted her as her with her mutation type quirk like this. You can understand why. People didn't really like mutations within the My Hero world. So Izumi was living on the streets, as she would constantly just go around trying to scratch up for food, as she had seen what people do, seen the evil side of the society. So she made her home underground, and it was very useful with her quirk, to where she made a whole underground cave system. And every now and then she would go up and scout out, walk the city, as again, no one knows of her underground cave system as she did made it herself. One day where she's just struggling to survive, gathering food, she comes across an alleyway where she sees two people, one with a TV head and one with a speaker head, similar to her who has a drill head. So she went over there and, what are you two doing here? As Izumi's a little bit older than they are. As she's around 7, they're around 5, I would say. Oh, we're just on our own. You can just leave, as the TV woman is hesitant. There's a problem here, isn't it? What can I do anything to help? As they look scared. What's your name? My name's Sarah. This is my sister Jane. Nice to meet you. My name's Izumi. As she hands her hand over. As she shakes it. It's nice meeting with you. Why don't you all come back with me? I have a place where we can all stay. As they as they agree, they both nod. As they're on their way back, so why are y'all out here on the streets? People don't like our quirks. Yeah, I know the feeling. I was abandoned on these streets as well. So at least I can do is just bring you back with me. As she goes to a she goes to a sewer vent where she goes down. Aren't y'all coming? Is they're a little bit hesitant to go down, as they decide to also just crawl down the ladder. As they crawl down, and they decide to follow her while they're on their way there. So, what's your favorite hero? As they say, All Might. Personally, for me, I gotta say, it has to be Power Loader, if that's his name. He makes some interesting gear. Especially, some of the drill items he makes is quite fascinating. As her 4 separate sets of drills pop out of her back. You might want to stand back for this. As she starts to drill into the side of the wall of the sewers, and it starts to collapse, and revealing a hidden area. Right this way. As they follow. How are you going to fix that? Oh, don't worry, it resets every day. As they look confused. 1, 2, 3. As she just counts, as it just falls back in place. How? There's a construction site exactly above us, and they always dump materials around this time. We're filling that spot every day. Oh, so this is kind of your like secret hideout. You could say that. As they go and they just see a nice living room, kitchen, bathroom, all that down underground. You put all this here? Yeah, of course. I've been on my own for a while, so I learned to scavenge the junkyard. And I managed to find a lot of this. Can you believe someone threw out a healthy power generator? Wait, seriously? As they both look at her. Yeah. Now, get some rest. As Izumi would go and starts drilling some rooms for them. As she's drilling, she hits something. Huh? What's this? As she moves it aside, as she finds a metal container. Huh. I'll leave it for now. As she just puts it away. As she finishes making the rooms for Sarah and Jane. Alright, room set up. Y'all have a nice sleep. As they are excited and happy that Izumi took them in to help. As she just decides to dig back up to through the same exit and goes out. A few years go by. As the sisters are still, or well, they're now sisters, they consider themselves sisters. As they are all living together in their little secret hideaway. As Izumi is the one that mostly runs and does all the work. As her sisters go to school as she works constantly trying to live a comfortable life. But if you know the world, not everything goes as smoothly as you think. One day, there seems to be heroes within the area. And they're at the construction site. Excuse me, sir. Is there possibly we believe there's an unwarded house here. And with them being on this property, we'll have to arrest whoever lives in it. As the construction workers are like, no, there's no house here. Well, you don't mind if we take a look around? Izumi noticed the commotion above. And noticed her sisters are not here. She checks the spot where she drilled in. That filled up. Good, it filled up. As she goes to hide, hopefully they don't find it. As she grabs all the photos of her sisters and anything that's related to them and just buries it real deep and covers it up. There. They shouldn't be able to find that. As she hears footsteps nearby. If you're down here, come out now. As she stays silent, they're not supposed to be here. I made sure they couldn't find me. So we get a little bit of backstory. Apparently, Izumi was part of this family that was considered villains at their time for their quirks, because they were a construction company with drill quirks. And the whole reason Izumi was abandoned was because the heroes saw them as villains, because they had made plenty of bases of like caves and all that was not meant for villains but were meant for everyday people. But the thing is, most of the inhabitants of those buildings happened to be owned by villains, so they considered her family as villains. Even her, so she had gone to hiding. Her sisters had no idea of this. No one did. As the heroes are scouring out, as one of them noticed the wall. Why is this wall different from all the rest? Rocks. One of the construction workers came over. Oh, that's the collapsed part of the underground sewers. There's a couple of them around here. Alright. The hero was a bit suspicious, but decides to walk by. Izumi sighs. As they just keep looking through. As they accidentally stumble upon one of her tunnels. Oh, that's bad. What's down here then? No clue. As they start to look, and I know it goes way deeper and longer, so they decide to follow it. Several heroes splitting up. As Izumi knows that they're going to eventually find the place, so she starts digging with their drills. As some heroes find a hidden spot where her and her sisters lived, they decide to close down the area and started to look more around. Izumi had covered her way exit where she was drilling out. We go about a few hours later where Izumi is currently still drilling through the ground trying to get further away. And Aizawa had arrived onto the scene where they had confiscated everything and closed off the area. As they go down, as he goes down into the room. What is this place? It's a place where we believe a villain's been hiding out. using the construction site as a way to hide. That is a possibility. But how do you know it's a villain and not just some random person with a quirk that can dig? We believe it's from the Drill family. They constantly made bases for villains. We need to arrest the last member of their family, but she's evaded arrest several times. All right, but how do you know this is her place? We don't really have any confirmation yet, sir. Then you could have just confiscated someone's house. Thing is, sir, this is on private property. She's technically coming here, and we have a warrant. She can be arrested. This is not her property. So, have her pay rent or something. Arresting the person is going too far. Give them a warning or have them move out somewhere. For all we know, this could be a random person's house you're invading. As I was always mad at the heroes for not considering that. Okay, let's take a look around. They're looking around, and they find traces of her. Like, they find a picture of her within her house. Alright, apparently alright. She is here. Or she was. So we wait for her to come back, and we catch her. How do you know she doesn't know this place is compromised? As all of them are silent. Of course y'all don't. You didn't think that she was in the area. She could have easily just dug out. Or she's somewhere nearby that have been listening to this conversation. They look even further. One of them eventually decides to move the cabinet that she had in there, finding a big hole. I think she knew we were here, the detective says. How can you be sure? These hole marks are recent. I say an hour tops. An hour top. So she knew you all were here. And of course all this makes to the news, to where her sisters see this and are shocked. We go back to Izumi, who's currently drilling through the ground, until she falls into a cave system because the ground below her collapsed as she got knocked out on one of the rocks. She's asleep for about a few hours, till she wakes up with a headache. Ugh, what happened? As she looks around, not noticing anything really off, but still tries to move, even though she's in a dizzy state, I would say. As she's moving through the room, heading over to through the cave, I should say, to where she finds a lake. So she lays down near it, thinking of what she'll do next, as the heroes had found her, and she doesn't know what to do. Then out of nowhere, she hears voices. She quickly hides, making a makeshift hiding spot, with very little strength left, as she'd used a lot of it trying to escape from the heroes. As a man walks over with someone else, Krigiri, tell me, what is this place? It's an ancient place I heard of a long ago. I had heard from some people saying this was a legendary old cave that held something. Not sure what. But I can tell you that thing might be valuable. Alright, we'll check it out. As they don't know what they're really looking for, but they have an idea. As it seems to be some sort of item they can use. And it being all for one, he could use it for multiple things. It could be for the Nomu, it could be for Shigaraki or powering his strength. I hope y'all enjoyed this part, and make sure to like and subscribe.